I'd like to start with a retraction from my previous video. Redditor Senior Lovely was the first to point out that it's Balin that they find dead in Moria, not Gloin. So...
Apologies all around.
Guess I need to go back to Hogwarts, where Gandalf teaches. The Two Towers! The movie begins with a flashback to Gandalf's apparent death. Gandalf falls along with the Balrog, but instead of just dying, he grabs his sword in midair and starts wailing on him and rides him like Falkor into a huge underground lake. Frodo and Sam are lost in a labyrinth of stone on their way to Mordor, and a creature named Gollum, who used to have the ring, shows up all like,
"I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey."
And he tries to take it from them, but they capture him and he agrees to lead them to Mordor. New characters are introduced when we discover that this shifty bugger named Grima Wormtongue, played by Brad Dourif, who knocks it out of the park, appears to be controlling the once noble and strong-willed Theoden, King of Rohan, played by the well-cast Bernard Hill. Eomer, the king's nephew, played by Judge Dredd himself, the ever-badass Carl Urban, is exiled when he realizes that Grima is in hardcore cahoots with Saruman. Merry and Pippin, meanwhile, almost get eaten by their captors when the creatures begin complaining about their lack of food options since they haven't had time to go grocery shopping but escape in the chaos of a skirmish. Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas are pursuing Merry and Pippin and wind up running into Horsemaster Eomer and his gang of exiles, who give the bad news that they've slaughtered all in the company of the Uruk-hai, so they travel to the side of the battle where a frustrated Aragorn kicks a helmet, breaking his toe in real life and channeling the pain into a yell because Vigo's like professional legit. He then realizes the hobbits managed to escape into the spooky Fangorn forest. Merry and Pippin had been pursued by an orc into the forest, but they are rescued by Treebeard, the Ent, who is basically just a big tree that can walk and talk and has a rockin' sweet beard. Gollum leads Frodo and Sam through a haunted place called the Dead Marshes, where Frodo almost dies but is saved by Gollum, which causes them to question whether Gollum is really a villain like he first thought. They also learn that the Nazgul have traded in their death horses for some sweet flying mounts. Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas wander into Fangorn in search of the hobbits, where they are reunited with Gandalf and learn that he defeated the Balrog.
Taste my lightning, fucker! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Sleep! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Sleep!
And basically died himself, but returned to life as Gandalf the White. Frodo and Sam and Gollum reach the Black Gate of Mordor and throw the ring in the fire, and everyone has bacon pancakes. The end.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
They reach the Black Gate of Mordor, and Gollum convinces them that it would be harebrained to try and get in that way and that they should go a secret way that he knows about. Merry and Pippin drink magic water that makes them each a little bit taller and a baller and gives them a girl who looks good, so they call her. But they almost get killed when some trees attack them, but Treebeard shows up and saves them. Aragorn and company arrive in Edoras to exorcise Saruman from King Theoden's mind.
I have not passed through fire and death to bandy crooked words with a witless worm.
You can just call me Shelby.
Which they are able to do since Gandalf has become more powerful. They give Grima Das Boot and try to convince Theoden to prepare for battle against Saruman, but he instead instructs his people to retreat to the stronghold known as Helm's Deep, where he thinks they'll be safe, but Gandalf knows something different awaits. Gandalf then leaves and tells Aragorn exactly when to expect his return. Aragorn meets Eowyn, sister of Eomer, played by the lovely Miranda Otto, who takes quite the shining to Aragorn when she sees him pull some sweet lady-killing horse whisperer maneuvers to a war-jaded horse named Brago, who is turned loose at Aragorn's insistence.
Get out of here! Can't you see we don't want you anymore?
Next, we find Frodo arguing with Sam over how much they should trust Gollum, who Sam dislikes immensely, even though one of their disagreements gave birth to this glorious song. You all know the words.
Potato, potato, boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Sadly, their meal is interrupted by a skirmish involving none other than Boromir's brother Faramir, played with heart by David Wenham, and we learn that he is less a warrior than Boromir and more a philosopher. On the road to Helm's Deep, Eowyn continues to grow more attracted to Aragorn, and when he reveals that he's actually 87 years old, she wonders whether he's open to robbing the cradle, and not long after that, they come under attack from Warg Riders, Saruman's orcs riding beasts like large hyenas. During the battle, Aragorn takes a tumble off a cliff.
What are you doing? That's how I roll.
The rest of Theoden's people reaches Helm's Deep, and Saruman sends his huge army of Uruk-hai to attack the stronghold. Sam and Frodo have been taken prisoner by Faramir, who reveals his relation to Boromir, and in a flashback we are shown a truer version of Boromir, the man he had been before all the junk with the ring started, and we see that his father, Denethor, the enormous throbbing dick... the steward of Gondor, is the one who demanded that Boromir get the ring for him and that he openly favors Boromir over Faramir, so when Faramir discovers that Frodo has the ring, he decides to take it to his father so he can hopefully finally earn his father's approval. Aragorn washes up on a shore where he is rescued by Brago, the horse that he'd set free, and on the way to Helm's Deep he sees the size of Saruman's enormous army, and when he gets there he urges Theoden to send for help from Gondor, or really anyone who might help, but the king is stubborn and refuses. Merry and Pippin find themselves in the middle of a meeting of the remaining ents, which Treebeard is summoned to see if they should do anything about Saruman, and the conversation moves at the pace of petrified molasses.
Hello.
But in the end, Pippin ends up getting them to assault Isengard. Shortly before the Battle of Helm's Deep begins, a unit of elven archers arrives to help Theoden's people, much to everyone's relief. The Uruk-hai army shows up and the battle begins. The archers are letting their arrows fly, and it seems that there's no way for the Uruk-hai to breach the stone walls of the fortress, but Saruman created large canisters filled with gunpowder which get placed and detonated in a drain beneath the wall, and it blows the whole wall to shit, allowing the Uruks to storm in. Faramir's company is assaulted by Nazgul, and Faramir gets to witness firsthand the evil nature of the ring and decides to let Frodo go, showing that he's stronger than his brother in the way that matters most. But Gollum feels betrayed by Frodo for handing him over to Faramir's men, so he decides to walk Frodo and Sam into a trap, clearly forgetting that Sean Astin is a beast mode trap master.
I made it, I beat you. I got here in one piece.
After the battle at Helm's Deep has waged on for some time, Theoden is finally ready to admit defeat, but Aragorn talks him into riding out and fighting alongside him, and sure enough, Gandalf arrives on top of a hill at just the time that he'd told Aragorn to expect him.
A wizard arrives precisely when he means to.
And he's brought Éomer and his followers with him, and because Gandalf's so smart that people be like, damn, he's so smart, the sun rises over the hill right as they charge down it, which blinds the orcs just as Éomer's troops crash down on them. The remaining enemy forces flee into the forest, which they didn't realize had grown larger over the course of the night because the trees themselves had come to battle, and they end up finishing off the rest of the orcs that got away. It was probably pretty gruesome. The Ents straight up trash Isengard, though they can't get to Saruman, who's locked away in his tower. After the battle, Merry and Pippin, who I've yet to mention are played astutely by Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd respectively, find a huge stash of food and the hypocrite Saruman's private stash of dank. They are pleased. To be continued.